This fog is so thick you could cut it with a knife.
This is a joke they did back in 1969, which tells you exactly what this movie is. Unoriginal.
Like the fog is so thick you can cut it with a knife.
There's nothing original about this movie, and it is the most average Scooby-Doo movie I've seen so far. So let's get into it. Roll the intro. I apologize for the lighting as well. It's very cloudy and rainy outside, so I have no natural sunlight coming through at all, so I do apologize for the lighting. Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to my review of Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster. So yes, we are in Scotland this time around. So in this one, it's not the old voice cast besides Frank Welker and Casey Kasem, but it's the voices of the current TV show at the time, What's New Scooby-Doo. So we have Mindy Coleman as Velma and Grey Delisle as Daphne. So this movie was one I kept on seeing in stores for a while as a kid, and I was kinda interested in it. I liked the Loch Ness Monster, so I was excited to finally see it, and it exists. The monster itself is CGI 90% of the time, and it really stands out. Like, it's not the worst thing, but it's very noticeable, especially when they change the animation, which is then like, why have two different styles? I guess it was an experiment that ended with, I will say the animation in general looks better. It's a much better looking film overall, though much like the CGI monster, there are some weird animation moments where things just suddenly look worse. But overall, it is better. The music exists. Some of the music moments are very weird in this movie, where it feels like the sound effects are missing or something. It's very bizarre. I'm not exactly sure how to explain it. And obviously I can't show too much because, music copyrighted, so I can't really show too much of it. But it feels weird. Some characters are kinda annoying but also passable, one of which is Daphne's cousin Shannon Blake, which is literally just Daphne but Scottish and maybe a lesbian.
I just hope we can survive the embarrassment should you be our winning contestant, Angus Haggart.
The plot itself is simple. Daphne's ancestors have a castle in Scotland, the Blake Castle, and they are having the annual Highland Games there. But the Loch Ness Monster is terrorizing the place, so it's up to the Mystery Inc. gang to solve the mystery. While half the place gets destroyed and no one goes to jail or anything like that. Yeah, there's some really dumb stuff in this movie, so let's just go forward all, shall we? So it opens up with the monster attacking Shannon on a boat, celebrating the start of the games, and we also meet Colin and Angus, two Scottish idiots who I did find entertaining.
That's me brother you be speaking to, lassie, and if anyone's got claim to being embarrassed by him, it's me.
Aye then, what do you say we start the games early? Biggest splash wins.
Oh, you're on.
Wait, no!
It then cuts to the gang heading to Blake Castle. At one point they stop and see the monster, and Fred ends up crashing a van into the lake. Everything is fine though as they arrive at their destination, and also see the wreckage from the previous night. Here we meet a coach who's also the father of Colin Angus, and then we meet Dale Chillman. Great last name, Chillman. Who's a hippie-like dude who is crazed and fascinated by the Loch Ness Monster, and very much believes in it, and that the games are what's disturbing it. So he's like the wacky character. They head to the castle where Shannon mentioned seeing the monster, including on land, where we briefly see it in its glorious CGI. Really took me out seeing it for the first time like that. I do love Shannon mentions the Blake family has a history of falling into traps and the like, so it's a curse on the family. That is kind of funny, even though she stopped being danger prone for a time, but sure. Sorry, I won't forgive them for regressing the characters back into stereotypes.
The one thing we Blakes have been known for is being, how shall I put this? danger prone. What?
Stunning architecture. Love the gargoyle.
Nothing.
Also, Scooby's collar is randomly green here for pretty much this entire section. It's not a simple animation mistake when it's to that level, it's just kind of laziness. We then meet Professor Penbrook, who has taken photos of the monster and very much believes in it and wants to prove it to the world. And then, holy crap, in the next scene, Shaggy and Scooby are offered traditional Scottish food, and for once in their entire lives, Scooby and Shaggy don't like the food.
Oh, it's just a boiled sheep stomach, stuffed with diced liver and kidneys.
Then suddenly a log flies through your window and we meet another character doing his best Nigel Thornberry impression.
Still quite a smashing entrance, don't you think?
He's the ref of the games, but also a museum director who firmly does not believe in the Loch Ness monster. And Professor Penbrook used to work alongside him as his assistant, so they butt heads all the time. The two of them do not like each other because one believes and the other doesn't. Both of these characters are just eh. During the night we hear some growling, but it's just Scooby's stomach. So we go to find some food with the animation changes here at one point, which is very weird. But as they are chased by bats and head outside, they get attacked by the Loch Ness monster. I will just refer to it as Nessie from now on. They don't in the movie, but I will, because I can. So Nessie completely destroys a huge chunk of a castle, I guess like one whole watchtower, as it chases down Scooby and Shaggy during a music segment, and not once is it ever brought up the damage that was caused. It takes out an entire tower and a bridge, and it is never ever brought up. And like the villain in the end gets away with everything, like no harm done, besides the historical castle being destroyed. And yeah, the monster is very CGI, but then there's also shots where it's not, so it's very inconsistent. Also, Nessie then destroys all the tents and such for the games. And then there's this weird moment where Shaggy says this.
Like zoinks! It's right outside!
Yes, Shaggy. We know. But it's just a gang who don't bring up the destruction at the castle at all. Sorry, I won't let that go. But oh look, footprints. Something definitely had to be here. Ah yes, that's what convinces you. So now they need to fix the tent, so they go to town. We get some moments with the brothers, Coach and Dell, but it all leads to Shaggy and Scooby riding off in the mystery machine, while Fred and the others go to Professor Penbrook's boat to go out on the lake and check things out. Though Shaggy and Scooby are led into a forest as we see someone changing the road signs. Just like the previous movie. How original, as I said. Like Scooby is already having trouble reading the map, just go with that. Fred and the others encounter Nessie in the water and Fred is all excited wanting to catch it. Yeah, smart idea, Fred. So obviously this does not go very well as it drags them about as it gets caught in a net, while Shaggy and Scooby are lost in the woods and then come face to face with the CGI monster. So we get another music moment, and this is where I thought it started to sound off. Like it needed more sound effects or something, or maybe like the singing voices needed to be a bit louder over the music or something. I don't know, something just feels a little off.
You fill me with worry, you fill me with fear. I'm not standing still and I'm not staying here.
Though, I feel like this scene exists because someone just wanted to draw Scooby in the mud with his butt out.
Was early in November, the leaves are on the ground. I couldn't get up, I just gotten down. I'm all alone.
Yeah, I said it. I'm calling you out, artists. I'm also calling for artists to draw this. Moving on. Somehow, cartoon logic, a mystery van flies off a cliff and lands directly on the boat. Sure. They go back to it later and see the footprints turned into tire tracks. Somehow. They don't really explain how that was possible. And then later, the old dude shows up on his fancy boat and they use it to try and find the monster. Weirdly, Shaggy and Scooby try to hide? I'm so confused as to why, they feel like they need to hide when they're on a big-ass boat. But they do so on a submarine thing that then gives Fred the great idea of using it. That's such a weird excuse to point out there's a submarine here. That's basically all that was. Anyway, I am kind of skipping over things, but yeah, there's not a lot to say. At one point, Fred is playing a game, but it's just a radar, which then, why does it have a controller to it? I don't know. The movie definitely doesn't. So yeah, I don't need to talk about all that stuff, even though I just did. The gang go down in the submarine and find some old caves, and then we see some human skeletons, and Shaggy and Scooby desecrate the graves to put on the armor, of course. Suddenly, CGI Nessie is back. It's not that bad, it's just noticeable is all. And then there's this hilarious animation where Fred is cross-eyed. That's funny. Shaggy and Scooby try to be brave for once and fight the monster, which goes exactly how you expect it would. So there's an underwater chase scene, but everything is okay, and they go back to the van, but Dale is randomly sleeping in the back of the van because his van was stolen. Then once again attacked during another music segment, and once again it destroys a building, so yay, more property damage that won't get addressed at all, and at one point the monster also sneezes. So it's real, right?
Hello, Governor. Care for a sweep of the old chimney, then?
Well, after accidentally collecting a sheep and the top of the van randomly flies off, Nessie suddenly turns to a very obvious tarp over a van and crashes. So yeah, it's not real. So how did it sneeze? Who knows? I also just hate how fake it suddenly looks, you know? It's all this, like, very particular CGI, and then it just looks completely different. I kinda hate that. So it was Dell's van that was being used, and whoever was driving it is gone, never explaining why his van was used and, like, how long it's been used for, if it was just used this once, which then who made this whole monster thing to fit on his van specifically. Just, it makes no sense. And there is still more to this mystery, so the movie keeps on going as they plan on finding the Nessie that's in the lake. Because they figure there's more than one monster wanting around. So Shaggy and Scooby go out in the water thanks to a box of Scooby snacks, as they ask, is there anything they won't do for Scooby snacks? Noted. But there is some fog happening, and so we get that fog joke I mentioned in the beginning. And as I said, it's not original in Scooby-Doo itself. Yes, it happens all the times in cartoons, but yeah, it's happened in Scooby-Doo, so it's just not original. And then the monster appears looking so much more obviously CGI in this lighting now. And then really randomly, they're using the old man's boat again, but his crew suddenly mutiny and want to capture the monster and sell it by killing it, because they're morons. This just comes out of nowhere, this whole mutiny part, and it's only there for the plan to screw up. Because then after this, it's never brought up again. So much of this scene though, it just feels really off. Again, sound effects are missing or not loud enough, or they're just using the wrong sound effects might be the problem. But basically, a bunch of quirky stuff happened, but they managed to capture the lake monster. But there's another land Nessie, but as Shaggy and Scooby fall into a trap, they smack the other monster into it and it falls into the trap, and it is revealed to be Colin and Angus. And the other one turns out to be a giant robot built by Professor Penbrook. But why did she do it? So the museum director she was the assistant of would believe the Loch Ness is real. That's it. That's the plot of the movie. That's the villain's goal. That's why she destroyed the castle and very much tried to murder the gang, all because she wanted this dude to believe in a monster. She didn't use this amazing underwater monster machine she created as a way to track down Nessie in the water. Nope, not at all. That would be stupid, wouldn't it? Why am I even thinking that? So does she go to jail or anything? Nah. In fact, in the next scene, she is just with them all, and they pick up something on radar that says Nessie might be real, and so now in the end the old dude believes her now and thinks it might just be real. So kids, if you want your parents to believe you, just burn down their house, destroy their cars. That'll make them believe you is the message I'm getting out of this. I do like Colin and Angus were just in on it because I found it funny. That in itself is funny.
Your sons were trying to scare away the athletes so they could win the games.
It's not true.
We don't even care about the games. We just like a good practical joke.
That monster thing's the greatest joke we ever pulled.
Hey, that's better than the hedgehog in the toilet bowl.
The movie ends with Scooby seeing the real monster in the lake, which is very cute how he ends the movie.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo?
So that's it. It's not a bad movie, but the comedy just, it's not really that great. I wasn't really a fan of a lot of the characters, and like Dale they try to make funny, I guess, but he's just, I don't really care that much. The music is just okay. There's nothing offensive about this movie besides maybe some of the CGI, which is not that bad. It's just more so different. They haven't really done this before. It's more so because in part it's drawn, so like why do both? It's not consistent with its animation, so that does annoy me. The reason for it all is stupid, and a castle being destroyed, never being mentioned, is, a thing. Also, Shannon, and all being related to the Blakes, really didn't do anything for the story. It was really pointless. It was just a way for, an excuse for them to be in Scotland, which, like, they don't really need one. It's fine, it's just pointless. I think someone just wanted to see what Daphne would look like as a lesbian and Scottish. So to me, Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster is a 5 out of 10 foxes. Yeah, it's just another average Scooby-Doo movie in the end. Yeah, some of the problems with like the CGI to then like changing it over to like the normal animation is very weird, and then like the actual like story and all that, it's not that great. And I do have an issue with them not mentioning destroying the castle. But like, I still think it's an average movie. It's fine. I'm not offended by these things like I was with Legend of a Vampire and having the hex scales in it, but not having them actually sing a song. Like, they do for like a couple seconds, but it's not an original song. But like then when we do get an original song, it's them just saying the same word over and over again, and then it's, yeah, again, another like 5 seconds of singing. It's that offended me. Me seeing like the castle get destroyed and them not talking about it. That's just me. That's just my brain just being like, is that ever going to be brought up? that to me is more so just a funny little thing. I've in my head, you know. Sorry, I'm going off script at the moment. All right. Yep. Back to it. Yep. I do think I'm going to be giving a lot of 5s for a while for these movies. It's not a 4 because, again, I didn't find it offensive like I did Ghoul School or Legend of a Vampire. So, like, it's just another Scooby-Doo movie that Scooby-Doo fans could put on while working on projects or something. This is definitely something you could have on in the background, and, yeah, it's not going to offend you or anything like that. Like, it's one I might put on again, just to have a bit of a laugh or whatever, you know? But for now, that's it for this video. Next up is Aloha Scooby-Doo. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please go follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter, and I also have a PayPal and a coffee if you wish to donate to help me out. I really do appreciate it. Please do hit that little star icon to hype this video. Really appreciate it. Please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel because I love you if you do hit that bell icon. And this fox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.